start because we have only from 10:30 to 12:30, right? So I would like to welcome all of you to your EGAP session. I hope you know what EGAP is. It's English for General Academic Purposes, and my name is Tishani Boralassa. I will be doing Group 6. So I will be taking you through your EGAP lecture series, right? And if there is anything that you don't understand when the course material is being explained, please feel free to ask, right? Because you need to be able to understand what is happening. And at the end of the session, right, we have a wrap-up session. So even at that time, you can ask. And just to give you a brief introduction of what you have to do, you have got your course material, I hope. And so the EGAP program, the English for General Academic Purposes, is divided into 4 sections. So you get reading, writing, speaking, and listening, right? So under those 4 sections, your course material has been designed. And this is general things that are here in your course material, right? So you should be able to follow the EGAP program and then incorporate these things, what you learned, into your degree program, right? Now, if someone can tell me what your degree program is, or are there students from different degree programs here? Okay, let me pick a name. My goodness, there are no names. Students, you all have all put your index numbers. So how am I going to refer to you all? Okay, there's one name. Krishantan. Krishantan, what's your degree program? Bachelor of Management Studies. All right. So I assume all of you are doing Bachelor of Management Studies? Okay. Can't you unmute and speak that all of you are putting messages in the chat? We are from BMS. So Bachelor of Management. Okay. Most probably everybody's doing that. That's Dilrukshi, is it? No, Dilakshi. All right. So feel free to please unmute and talk when we are having a discussion, but otherwise, oh, I didn't mute all. I think it's the host. I'm only the co-host from the university. Mr. Chamira is the host. So he must have muted all because I also heard lots of, other things going on. Some of you join. How do I unmute you all? To begin with, I think you all are. Oh, it says mute all. Let me unmute all. Allow parts. Right. Are you still unmuted? Or you're still muted rather? It says mute all. I'm sure you all are more tech savvy than I am, right? I do not use Zoom too much. I work on Teams. Oh, still muted. So this Zoom is a bit of a actually challenge for me because we work on Teams generally. How do I unmute you also? I need to tell Chamira then to unmute you. Why has he muted everybody? Yeah, I know. I'm not the host. Y'all can hear me, I'm only the co-host. So this, see, Chamira, if you look, CRC, that's from the university. He's the one who's the host. I don't know why he has muted everybody. Don't know whether there were issues the last cycle. I didn't teach it the last cycle, students. Now right, isn't it? Okay, I think why he muted you all is because people see join in with the microphone on, and then everything else in the surrounding we can hear. So you all must remember when you all are joining itself to mute yourselves and join, right? Okay, so for now, let's go on. Otherwise, if we try to do this now, we won't have time to finish what we have to do for today. Okay. Just put up a message in the chat if you have anything, right? So like I was telling you, you have 4 sections, right? And so you need to improve all 4 sections because you will be tested on all 4, right? For reading, writing, obviously you will have a paper, right? The paper will have comprehension. It will have, gap filling, right? It will have an essay, and some of the grammar that we are going to be learning. I'm sure you all have done it when you all were in school, but must have forgotten, right? So some of the grammar will be tested, understand, right? So all those are going to be tested. Then listening is also tested, right? You will be given, you have your LMS. The listening component is in your LMS. So actually, we don't do the listening within these 2 hours of lecture time. We tell you to do it as homework. So you have to listen, and the questions are in your book, and you have to answer, right? And then if there are any problems, we will discuss it in the next lecture series, right? So next Sunday, we would be then discussing, right? That is how they have structured the program. Okay, and for speaking, of course, we have to do some speaking here, right? You all have to, get into maybe breakout rooms, but if we have too many, it's not possible for us to put you into breakout rooms because we can't have like 20 breakout rooms, right? So then what I did was, I just get different people to speak. So speaking is also tested. So please remember, all 4 aspects of the language would be tested at the end of the course, right? So you have 2 CAT tests. One would be, have you all got the dates? Okay, let me give you. CAT 1 is on 19th February, right? In all regional centers that would be held, right? So that would most probably be a physical test, okay? And then CAT 2 is an online exam. And that is after the lecture series is over, right? We have 15 sessions and the last one is on the 30th of April, okay? And your final exam is on the 14th of May. And you have to submit your final examination applications online through the My OUSL 4, and the course code for this is LTE 3401, right? So you all would have got the timetable and everything, I hope, right? Now you all have all joined with your registration numbers. Imagine how am I to refer to your students, right? So all day schools will be conducted via Zoom, right? So that is the general information that I have to give you. If you need to know anything else, please feel free to ask. All right. Okay, so are there any questions? I know the host still muted everyone exactly. I don't know what this is. Right, never mind. We'll just continue because otherwise it's going to be a problem. Right, so the first thing we have to do is, right, the introductions. Now when he has muted. Now can you, are you all unmuted now?
Yeah.
That's good. Right, because the first bit is introduction, right? So I introduced myself, but I will do it again. So I'm Tishani Boralasa, right? And I've been doing these EGAP courses, just a little bit of information if you want, for the Open University as a visiting lecturer from 2014, right? But you have to bear with me. Like I told you, I work mostly on Teams. So every course, there's somebody who helps me out with the Zoom if I get stuck with it. I hope there's somebody here too, right? So if there's anything that you need to know, you need to clarify, please feel free to ask, right? Because we are here to help you, all of you, get through this the first time round, right? I'm sure you all know you have to get through this EGAP course for you to get your degree at the end of your 3 years or 4 years, depending on what type of a degree you're doing, right? The university does not award the degree certificate unless you have got through this EGAP. So every time we tell the students, try to get through it the first time round. It is not difficult. It is the same thing, you know, if you follow the lecture series and you have your books with you, it's distant education. So you have your books with you. If you go through the books, right, there's no issue for you not to be able to get through it. All right. Okay. So can some of you introduce yourselves? Tell me what your name is. I'm sure you all are from all over Sri Lanka, right? So from where you are, and whether all of you are doing Bachelor of Management Studies. Anyone who likes to start off? Students, it's better if you put your names, no? Imagine calling out saying 422498849. That sounds like as if. Oh, this is the new thing. Before, of course, all my students had names. What is this? There's Chamil. Some have names. Samodhya, right. So so I suggest that you mute yourself only when you need to speak, unmute. Right, Chamila, Chamil, the people who have put their names. Arshad, can you tell me something about yourself quickly? Anyone?
Hello, I'm
Yes.
Dilakshi Anushika.
Okay.
I'm from Kandy Regional Center.
Right.
I'm following the BMS degree program.
Right. Thanks, Anushika. Anyone else who would like to let us know from where they are and whether what program of study that they're doing at the university?
I'm Nilakshi. And I'm from Delgoda. I'm doing BMS degree at Open University.
All right, Nilakshi. And are all of you working? The two who spoke, are you full-time students?
Time students.
You are full-time students?
No, ma'am, part-time. Not
part-time. So Nilakshi, you're working?
Yeah.
All right. Where are you working at?
I'm working my cousin's company.
All right, so good. So basically then you need to organize your work time and your study time. So there is one here where we have a lesson on time management, right? So yeah. Anyone else who would like to let us know? Maybe one more person?
Good morning, miss.
Good morning.
I am Kirtikan from Jaffna.
Okay, Kirtikan.
I am working in a Richa organic farm.
Oh, right. That's
okay,
nice.
I am as a marketing officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I study through BMS to help my future and the promotions and extra. So I would like to study in BMS.
Right. All right. Thank you. All right. Good. So as long as we can communicate, right? As long as you can communicate well, your speaking exam is not going to be an issue then, right? So thank you for the three who spoke, right? Shall we then start? Okay, let me share my screen. I'm going to switch off my video now, okay? And share my screen.
Excuse me, ma'am?
Yes.
Could you please tell me that the other course code that mentioned in the timetable?
Yes, give me 1 second. So through that course code only, you all have to apply when you all are applying for your final exam, okay? You all have to use the course code for the EGAP session. Give me a minute.
There is another one.
Wait, I'll tell you. Okay. So this is LTE 3401 or LEE 3410. It's LTE 3401 or you can use LEE 3410. Now, LEE 3410 is the old one we've been using. I think this LTE is the new one.
That's mean both are
Both are the same. Both are the same. Yes. They have said you can apply through my OUSL for the LTE 3401 or for the LEE 3410. Oh, LTE, you all have another one saying soft skills, right? What is your soft skills code?
soft skill code.
So just check on that, all right, with the university. Because LEE 3410 is the one that we always use for this E-gap, right?
ICT skills, ma'am.
LTE, I'll have to check. Yeah, ICT you all have, right? I'll check with the university and tell you all next week, okay? But just keep this in mind. You have to, final exam, you all have to give the online application, right? Through my OUSL. So just keep this in mind, all right?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so like I told you, I'm going to stop my video, students, right? And share the screen and get the PDF of your textbook. So first of all, we have to start with reading, right? Take your books. It's the first unit that we have to look at, right? We have to discuss the reading techniques. So that's in your block 1. It says unit 1, session 1, reading. And there's an interview with Barack Obama. So we have to look at that one, right? Okay, give me a second now. Where are my downloads? Okay. You can see my screen, right? So here, this is what I was telling you. See, in your books, it's there, right? See, these are the 4 components that we have to know, right? See, reading, writing, and the speech. All right. So these are all important because, see, you have to read your course material, everything you have to read because it's distance education, right? Then writing, you have to write for your exams, you have to write for your assessments, your assignments, right? You have to make your short notes. Then listening is academic listening. You have to listen to all your day schools, right? You have to listen to what is happening if they have any seminars, right? Then, of course, speech is you will have to do presentations, right? When you have maybe in the final year, right? So then your speaking skills should be good, right? So that is why we learn a language under these 4 skills, okay? So everything is given to you. So here in the first unit, we are doing world personalities, right? And we are going to look at some techniques that is useful when we read, right? So see, we are going to learn these techniques called skimming, scanning, understanding for general meaning, and using vocabulary clues, right? Now, when we read something, skimming means we read something for overall understanding, right? To understand what that maybe article is about or what that, chapter is about. We scan to find specific information, right? Now, if you're doing a comprehension, first of all, we will read it for understanding, for overall understanding, we will read the whole thing, right? For general understanding. Then we will scan it to find the specific answers for the questions that comprehension has asked us, right? So scanning means we look for specific information. Then using vocabulary clues. Now, sometimes when we read an article, we do not know the meaning of all the words, right? Some words we might not know the meaning. Then, of course, we'll have to Google it, right, and find the meaning. But at an exam, we are not allowed to Google and find meanings. Okay, so then what are the clues that we are going to use for us to find out the meaning of these words that we do not know? So one thing is we must read a few lines before that word and a few lines after that word, right, to get an idea of what that word is. All right. Then we can also look at, writing a short account. So, like a little short note, right? And then we are going to look at how to make a process. So you have in your LMS, the process there is how to make a bonsai, right? So you have to listen to that and the questions are there and you have to answer the questions, right? And the last one is for speaking, where you introduce oneself and carry out a short conversation with a partner, right? So these are the 4 things that we will be looking at in Unit 1. Okay. Right. Now, if you look, what we have to go through is this interview. Now, all of you have the books. This is the same thing that I have shared, right, on the screen. So you can either look at your book or look at the screen. That's fine. Now, when here they have given you an interview with the past president of the United States, Barack Obama. I'm sure all of you know who that is, right? And it is a formal interview. Now, interviews can be of 2 types, right? Formal interview and an informal interview. If we are interviewing, world personalities, sportsmen, right, important people, it's going to be a formal interview. But if you're told to interview, right, now like a homework assignment can be given, okay? Interview your grandmother. Ask 5 questions about her childhood. Then that's not going to be formal, is it? Because your grandma is somebody who you're close to and you know personally. So that's going to be an informal interview. Then the vocabulary you use, right? The way you ask the questions will be all informal. So you have to know the difference between a formal interview and an informal interview. All right. So the opening is going to be different. If it's a formal one, you will start with saying, good morning, sir, good morning, madam, whatever. If you're told to interview the vice chancellor of the university, you can't say, oh, hi, I'm here to interview you, right? You will obviously be more formal. You will say, good morning, sir, right? I would like to have an interview with you today, right? And then you ask the questions. And then when you're done, thank you, goodbye, very formal, right? But if it's an informal interview, right, the way you start and the way you end can be different, right? You can start by saying, hi, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. And you ask the questions and you can end it by saying, oh, that was nice. It was nice talking to you, right? So in your paper also sometimes you're given an interview, right? Or you're given a dialogue and you're given the situation, right? So they tell you, okay, this dialogue happened between a student and a lecturer. So then you must know, okay, it's going to be formal language, right? Or they will say this dialogue is between 2 students who've just met at the university. Then you have to know that it is informal language. So in formal language, your sentences would be longer, right? Whereas in informal, you can have short sentences, they can be phrases and so on, right? So the main difference that you have to know in this interview is whether it's going to be a formal one or an informal one, right? So there is an exercise that you have to do, but we have to first read this. So let's quickly read it. Now, to improve your reading skills, I'm going to get each one to read a little bit, right? So if anybody is volunteering to start off, then one person can, read maybe up to here, and the next one can do Obama, or we can have one person being the interviewer and the other one being Obama. But if we get different students to read, we give everyone a chance to improve their reading skills as well, right? Okay, so if someone would like to start, because it's no point in me reading it. Was it Dilrukshi who spoke before, or the boy from Jaffna, Miss Kartikan?
Kirtigan, miss.
Keitikan, I'm sorry. Would you like to start, Keitikan?
Yeah, I can.
Sure, good.
Today we are going to interview a very famous personality. He's gone a world over. He's a powerful figure who's very popular of his country. And through that the world, he is none other than Barack Obama, the 44th president of USA. Mr. President, your path becoming the president of the US is extremely interesting. You have many experience in childhood and
Adolescence.
adolescence, but nothing
Deterred.
deterred you from achieving your goal. Would you really tell us something about your childhood?
All right, good. Now, see, if we don't know the meanings of these words, adolescence, now you all can?
No, I don't know this, miss.
Yeah, childhood means, like say till 10 years.
Yeah.
Adolescence is teenagers,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Then nothing deterred you, nothing stopped you, right? Now,
Okay.
actually, if you know a little bit about Barack Obama, this is true, right? He came from mixed parentage.
Yeah.
And students in the US, these black people originally went to the US as slaves, right?
Yeah.
So they were not allowed to work, they were not allowed to go to the schools the white people went to, right? So for a black person, we can't refer to them as black people because black meant you being a slave, right? So these colored people were discriminated in that country. So for a person like him from different parentage, right? For a colored person to become the president of the US was like, something unbelievable in that country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because of the history that they had. Yeah, North America and South America had a civil war during the time of Abraham Lincoln when he was the president. And during his time only, they abolished slavery, right? So that's why, this President Barack Obama was kind of like, a turning point in the history of their country, right? Good. So can somebody be Obama and read this?
Yeah, miss, I can. Can I read, miss?
Yeah, sure, read. Students, yeah. Don't put your cameras on.
Can I read, miss?
Yeah, read.
Well, I was born on August 4, 1961 in Olulu, Hawaii. My mother was African and Dunham, but my father came from Kenya in Africa. His name was like mine, Barack Obama. At the time of my birth, my parents were students at the East-West Centre of the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Good. So see, they are giving you a little bit about his childhood, right? Where he came from, his parents and all that. Okay, so if somebody else could read both because this is just one line. Another student, please.
So you were of a mixed parentage. Did this affect you as a young person?
Read this also.
Now that you mention it, yes. When I was studying at the Punlo Academy at Hawaii, I was only one of the 3 black students at the school. That was when I first became conscious of racism and what it means to be an African American.
Yes. So can you see, in a university where there are so many students, he was just how many? One of the 3 black students. So can you see the amount of racism? So there only he became conscious of the racism that was there in that country. Good. Next one. Students, take the opportunity and read. Quickly, just anyone. Girls, all the boys are reading. I have to keep reminding you of the limited time we have, okay? So don't waste time. Come on, students. There are 82 of you. Now see, these boys read as soon as I told. Don't waste time. Quickly read. It's good for you to read. Because, you all generally don't read anything. So at least now take this 2 hours to read. Okay, then boys, the ones who read, keep on reading. Otherwise, we are wasting time, isn't it?
Did his conscience of racism affect you in later years too? I'm afraid so. When I attended Columbia University, the problem of racism, discrimination of was something I had to live with. It did bother me a great deal. Nevertheless, I managed to graduate in 1983 with a degree in political science.
Yeah, right. So again, he is telling, right, about was he conscious of this racism in his years when he was a student? So he says yes, right? But with all those things, he still managed to graduate. Okay.
What did you do after graduation? Did you try to do something about the race problems in this country? I did try, for instance. I became a community organizer for a small group for 3 years. This was in Chicago, and the group I helped were very poor residents of that city. Was this reason why you entered politics? Well, I suppose so. This experience made me realize that although America is a rich country, there were many people who needed help.
Yes, so that is important, isn't it? You know that America is one of the richest countries. They are one of the most developed countries. But look, right, at how the colored people were marginalized in that country as well, right?
So, when did you enter politics? Tell us about your early experience as a politician. I was elected to
Illinois,
State
Illinois. You pronounce
Illinois
Illinois. Yeah.
Illinois State Senate in 1996. I worked with the both Democrats and Republicans in drafting legislation
Legislation.
for expanded healthcare services and early childhood education program for the poor. I also create a state earned income tax credit for the working poor.
Yes, so these are the things he introduced in America. Now, unlike in Sri Lanka, students, I don't know whether you are aware, we have free healthcare, we have free education from primary school to university level. Okay, you're at the Open University, but if you go to the conventional universities, you know that it is free, right? But the US, being such a rich country, does not have free healthcare, does not have free education. You have to pay for everything. So he brought in these healthcare services where the poor people, right, could have these centers where they could go and get some form of healthcare. Because in the US, if you do not have insurance, well, you might as well be dead, right? Because nobody's going to look at you unless you have your insurance paid, right? So what he did was he started this, but I'm not sure whether you know that there were two Democrats and Republicans, like in Sri Lanka, you have different parties. Same way they are in any country, you get different political parties. So when President Trump came, I'm really not sure whether he kind of continued these or whether he changed because they were from two different political parties, right?
In February 2007, you made headlines by announcing your candidacy for the 2018 Democratic presidential nomination. When you won the election and became the first African American ever elected to that position, what were your reactions? Initially, a feeling of elation and joy, but having been in elation
happiness.
elation and joy, but having been in office these past few months, there are certain things I really miss. Can I ask you what those things are? Certainly, I don't get a chance to wander around neighborhoods and interact with the people the way I would like to interact. On a closing note, could you say a few words about your wife and family? With pleasure. I met my wife, Michelle, in 1988 when I was attached to the Chicago law firm of Siley and Austin. We married in October 1992 and we have two daughters, Melia born in 1998 and Shasha born in 2001.
Very good.
It was a most inspiring conversation. Thank you, Mr. President, for sharing your views and experience. It's been a pleasure to share my views.
Yes. So can you see here the formal ending? That's what I told you, right? Because this is a formal interview, right? See, it was most inspiring conversation. So this is what you have to remember out of this, right? How you ask questions if it is a formal interview, right? And how you begin the interview and how you end the interview. All right. Okay. Now, Did everybody follow? Because there is, you know, a little activity that you have to do. So I hope everyone understood. Anyone who needs, right. Now see, we look at different things when we read, right? We read different things. Now, what are the different things that we read? We read newspapers, we read books. What else? What else do we read? We read emails, we read our course materials, we read lecture notes, we read magazines, right? When we read different forms of literature or different, you know, books or articles, are we looking at the same thing when we read? What are we trying to, you know, do we use the same techniques when we read? Okay, if I ask you like this, when you read a newspaper, right? And when you're reading an email, are you using the same technique?
No, ma'am.
No, yeah, correct. Why do you say no? Now take the newspaper, for example, right?
Different.
Ah.
The purpose are different.
Pardon?
The purpose are different.
Yeah, purpose is different. So how will you read a newspaper? And how will you read a email? The email, you'll read the whole thing, right? Because it's not too long. Generally, emails, I mean, we don't write pages and pages of emails, right? You only put important things in a mail, right? So you will look for the, you know, maybe, okay, say it's from your boss at office, right? And he sent you an email telling you there's a meeting. So you will look, when is the meeting? At what time is the meeting? Do you have to prepare anything for it, right? Okay, so you will look for specific information, right? So what is the technique then you will be using? Are you going to skim or scan? Skimming is for overall understanding. Scanning is for specific information. So we will scan that email to get the information that we want, isn't it? Right. But we take a newspaper. Okay. Now, that one, newspaper, what will we do first of all? We will skim through it, isn't it? We'll look at the headlines. Okay, we'll see, okay, today, what's happening, right? What is, you know, what's with the political situation? So you will just skim through that. Then if you go to the sports section, if you're interested in sports, you will look and see, okay, what's happening with the cricket match or football matches or whatever, right? Then you will also skim through maybe the education section, right? So that would depend on what you are interested in, isn't it so? When we take the newspaper, do we read it from the beginning to the end?
No.
No,
We
ma'am.
don't know. Generally, we don't, right? I mean, we read the things which are only, so we'll first skim through it and then we will read what we only want to read. Isn't it? What interests us? The thing that interests one person might not be what interests the other one, right? So that's what, see? That is why here the strategies you use will depend on the answers you give. Look at the examples given below. So what are the strategies? See, if it's a letter from a friend, right? Why? You will be reading it for pleasure or for information. Why are you reading that letter? Are you just reading it, you know, because you haven't heard from him for a long time and, you know, he's telling you, okay, some things that he did or whatever? Or is he writing to give you some specific information that, okay, your friend has now shifted and is in another area and he's coming to Colombo to see you, whatever. Understand? So how you would read it, right? Read it intensively. You would read it carefully from beginning to end. How are you going to read it? Right? Would depend on what kind of information you're looking at. Right? So here, see, newspapers is skimming. You skim for interesting articles. An article about a cricket match, right? You will first skim to get the general information and you will scan after that to find out, okay, if you want to find out who scored the highest, right? Who got the most number of runs, then you will scan to find out that information. And also you will ignore some information that you don't need, right? If you're not interested in the some of the information that's been given there. You're not going to bother with it, right? So when we read, we have different purposes as to why we are reading whatever an article or a magazine or a book, right? And then how we read it also would differ, right? So I encourage you, please, to start reading, right? The newspapers, reading magazines in English, because we tend not to read in English, and even storybooks, which are really good, right? What do? We read the translated one. We either read the Sinhalese one if our mother tongue is Sinhalese, or we read the Tamil one if our mother tongue is Tamil, right? And we don't read that book in English. So that way we are not going to improve this second language of ours. Okay? We have to use the language. Do you understand? And now while I'm there, a very good way to improve your English would be to watch English movies, right? English cartoons, if you like. And first of all, you know, if you're watching it, now you get lots of these YouTube little videos, how to improve your language skills, right? If you go and look, if I have time, I'll show you one. I looked up a few, right? First of all, you watch the movie without those subtitles. Okay. Then watch it with subtitles. And after that, there are some questions. Students, you all have your camera on, switch it off. Then whatever the words you don't know, they give you a list of the vocabulary. So then you will learn the words that you were not familiar, right? So that's one way to improve, because it's enjoyable, right? Everybody likes to watch a movie. You understand? So find things which are, you know, which are enjoyable, that will improve your language skills. All right. So let's quickly do activity 1. The text given below require you to use different reading skills. Discuss the skills required for each type of text with your partner. So this says partner because generally all these days before the pandemic, we had physical classes, right? I would see you and you would see who your friends are. Unfortunately, we are unable to do that anymore, right? So let's discuss it. An airline ticket. What is the technique? Are you going to skim for information, or are you going to scan for information? Now, airline ticket will have specific information, isn't it? Okay. So it's like a train ticket. Say, will you, without airline, let's take train ticket. We have to know on what day that we are going on the train and at what time that train is, isn't it? Right? So we have to then scan for the specific information, right? So here the technique you will be using is scanning, right? So if you're reading a magazine, what is the technique you're going to use?
Scheming.
Skimming, exactly. Why? I told you before, we said like a newspaper, isn't it? A magazine has so many different things, no? It will have cookery, science, sports. All of us are not interested in everything, isn't it? Right? So we will read what we want only. Then, okay, let's do one more. If you take the third one, a table of contents in a textbook, what will you do?
Scanning means.
Yeah, we scan, no? Because in a textbook also, sometimes we might need, okay, chapter 3 we might want. We go to the library, right? We get a book for reference. We look at the content and, okay, if you want to know parts of speech, we will go and look at that, right? If you want to know about letter writing, we will look at that. Understand? So like that. So you should be able to, you know what type of technique you're going to use. All right. Okay. So the next activity we have to do is this one. Right. Now we read, right? And you understood the interview. Now they want you to fill this in. So now what is this now? We have writing incorporated. You read it, you understood, and now you're going to write. So you all have your books quickly. It's 11:15. I'll give you 5 minutes. Quickly put this down and then we'll discuss the answers. Oh, not 5. They had told you 2 minutes to complete the table. Okay, done? Oh no, 1 more minute is there. Anyone has any problem up to there? Done, miss. Okay, shall we look at it then? This is easy, right? Someone give the answers, then we can all discuss whether it's correct. Name?
Barack Obama.
Barack
Correct.
Obama.
What is his place of birth?
Honolulu, Hawaii.
Good. When was he born? They have
4th
given
August
1996.
August
1961.
Good.
1960.
Right. Father's name?
Barack Obama.
Correct. Nationality? From what country was he?
Africa.
Correct. Mother's name?
And
Dunham. Correct. From what country was she? Her nationality?
America.
Good. School attended? Name of the school and where are they asking? As in which school did Barack Obama attend? Okay. What is the school?
Academy in Hawaii.
Yeah, Punlo Academy, where Hawaii. Then university attended?
Columbia
University.
Correct. Columbia University. When did he graduate?
1983.
Good. How long did he work as a community organizer?
3 years.
Yes.
Right. When did he announce that he was running for the post of president?
February
2007.
I didn't hear. 2000?
7.
And his present position would be what then now? Now, at that time of the interview, he was the president of the US. If we are given this now, what will we say for present position?
President of America.
Yeah, past president of the US. Yeah, we have to mention past. If we are given this interview now and this set of questions are given to us now, right? He's no more the president now. So present position would be past president of the United States of America, right? Okay, good. Let's move on to the other one. See, did you notice that when you were doing this activity, you did not read every word of the text? So what is the technique all of you use, students, then? You all scanned for the specific information. You all didn't go and read the whole thing again, did you? No. Then you couldn't have done it this quick, right? Okay. Right. So look at this. The next activity, right? This activity will help you to develop the technique of skimming, right? So the information in the reading text tells us about different stages of Obama's life, right? Remember, they told about his childhood, his adolescence, then when he went to university, then they said after that what he did, then he got married, right? Then he, so like that, different stages of his life they have given. Now, if you go back in your book, can you see there are these boxes given near the interview? Here. Can you see? Stage number. So they want you to put a stage number here looking at this. Right? So marriage and family. Where are they talking about marriage and family in this interview? And you put 1. Do you understand what to do?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. Just quickly do it. They've given you 5 minutes for it. So go back. All of you have your books, I hope. Anybody who does not have the book? If you have finished, tell me.
Yeah, Miss, I finished.
Okay, because we have limited 11:21, we had to finish a little bit more. All right, so this one. What is the stage? Is it marriage and family, education, under education? They have given school, university, experience as a politician, childhood, first reaction to winning president. What is it here? So they've given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So which one is it?
Childhood, Miss.
Childhood. 4. Very good. Right. This one?
Cool.
2A.
School. No. 2A. We can say 2 and it's about a school. So we can put here 2A. Yeah. Here?
2B.
2B.
Correct. 2B, the university. Yeah. Then
Number 3.
3, Miss.
3.
3.
Experience as a politician.
Exactly.
Experience
Experience as a politician. Right. Then here?
5.
5. First
Number
reaction
five.
to winning the presidency. Correct. And next one is this one?
1.
1. No? Yeah. Right. So did you see? You're using the 2 techniques, right? So we've been always using these techniques, students. This skimming and scanning. It is just that we didn't put names to it, right? These are things that we do. But now, today, right? Maybe you might have heard it before or today might be the first day, but we refer to these as skimming and scanning, right? Those are the 2 techniques that we use when we read and understand and we have to do, right, certain things using that. Right? So there's another activity, activity 4. Right. Can you rearrange these in the order that it happened? Now these are given in a mixed up manner. They want you to put it in order. So what you can do is, it takes time if you're going to be writing everything. You can just put 1, 2, 3, 4 here on the side so that, we can quickly finish it. This shouldn't be academy. This should be assembly here. All right. That's a misprint. Illinois State Assembly. Oh, good. Somebody's already done it. Oops. Done? Okay, so what is the first one?
Attend the Plano Academy in Hawaii.
Yes, B would be 1, isn't it? Okay, then second one?
B.
B, correct. Attended Columbia University. Third one?
Was employed at the C.
C, right. Fourth one?
Elected to the
A.
Million State Academy.
Correct. And then obviously the fifth one was this one, right? So good. So you get things like this at your exam also. Huh? They give you from the passage and they tell you to rearrange it in the order as it appeared in the passage, right? So in your comprehension, if questions like this would come, right? Okay, then we give you true false questions as well at the exam, right? Again, based on the comprehension given. So quickly do this. And remember this now, most students, right, leave the answer and cross this. No, don't do that ever. If they tell you to state whether it's true or false, if this statement is true, either you put a tick to the true or you cross the true one, right? It is the answer that we have to cross out or put a tick. And this is also Same way, here they're asking you for a page number. At the exam, what we do is we ask you for the line number. Okay? So remember, if you get this wrong, its marks are, the 1 mark is given for both correct. Huh? You don't get half-half. True or false?
True.
True. And on which page did you find it?
Page number 2.
Great. Second question, is it true or false?
True.
True. Yeah, he did this, right? He was an organizer. And in which page did you find the answer?
Page number 3.
Page number 3.
Right. Question number 3,
False.
it's false. Didn't meet when they were students, no, when he was working, right? Where did you find it? In which page?
Page
Page
number
number
5.
Page number 5, correct. Right? So here they asked you for page numbers. Remember the exams, right? Whether it's CAT or final, you have comprehension. You are asked for line numbers. Okay? Right. Now here's a chance for you to write out a little bit. So write the sentence or sentences from the passage which gives you the following information. Now you have to find the exact line from the passage that we read that tells us that Obama comes from a multiracial heritage. That means of mixed parentage. What is the line that tells us? Write that exact line. And here you have to, you know, MCQ questions, right? We've all done when we were in school. So underline the best answer. All right. Oh, somebody has said, I'm from Gampaha Center. We didn't get the textbook. Oh dear. Who is that? You only have your, I don't know, this student has only the, right. Okay, let's talk about that after we finish. So what is the sentence that shows us that he's of a mixed parentage? Anyone can tell me the sentence? What's the sentence?
My mother was American
Yeah, correct.
and Duhama, but my father came from Kenya.
Kenya and Africa.
Correct. Right. Then Obama became conscious of his mixed parentage. When did he realize that, you know, this was a bit of a problem? What is that sentence?
I was only
One of the 3 black students at the school.
Now in page 3C, that was when I first became, that was when I first became conscious of racism. right? I was only one of 3 black students. That was when I first became conscious of racism.
In ma'am, both sentences.
Yeah, you can actually, because that sentence actually tells you, that he was conscious of the fact that he was from mixed parentage. Right?
Yeah.
Other one just says he was only 1 out of the 3 black people, right?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So it's, if you put both, that's fine. But even if you have just put that was when I first became conscious of racism and what it meant to be African American. Yeah. Then next one. See, Obama likes to interact with people. Where does he say that?
I don't get the chance
Exactly.
to wander
Right.
around and
Yeah.
interact with people the way I would like to interact.
Right. Correct. Right. He says, I mean, obviously, right? The president of a country can't just go around talking with everybody, no? Right? Then what is the best answer here? What is this text about?
Obama, a popular world
Popular world
personality.
personality.
Right. So these are similar questions, students, you will be getting, right, for your CAT and your final.
Excuse
Right?
me, miss.
Yes.
Miss, now I uploaded the book, miss. The book PDF in message. They can view that, miss.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So I do have students who are helping out. Even before, that's what they did. Yeah. You all also got the PDF, students. Did the university give you all also the PDF, or from where did you all get the PDF?
Miss, this is on my LMS, miss. We can download through the LMS.
Ah, you all can. Yeah, we have no access to this LMS. Okay, fine. So if you didn't get the book now here, what's your name?
I am Shiran, miss.
Shiran. Okay, Shiran, thank you so much. Shiran has uploaded the PDF. So others, Shiran says that you can get the PDF from your LMS. So there was one person who had said, I'm from Gampaha and I don't have the book. So here the PDF is here now and you can now look at that, right? Okay. Right. So here, next what we are going to do is you all have to know the different word classes, right? That is the parts of speech. I'm sure all of you have done this when you were in school, right? I mean, we did it when we were in school, okay? But if we have forgotten, that's why we've included it in the book, right? So we have to know that we use nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, right? When we are writing. Now, please, others, you need to mute your mics because you're disturbing the other students. When you have to say something, unmute, right? If not, have it muted because it's not fair by the others. Okay? All right. So what are nouns, students? All of us know what these are. These are naming words, right? It names a person, place, right? A thing or an animal. And we can have 2 kinds of nouns. We have common nouns and we have proper nouns, right? Okay, somebody is doing the lesson, I think, on the road. See, that's the advantage of doing online lessons. You can be anywhere and still follow the lesson, but then you need to mute yourself. Okay. So when you take nouns, we have 2 kinds of nouns. We have common nouns and we have proper nouns, right? So when we are writing any common noun, we don't use capital letters unless it's at the beginning of a sentence, right? Because common nouns are exactly what it means. They are common, right? So names of people and names of places are proper nouns because there is only one, right? So it's Shiran, there is only one Shiran, okay? That name can be used by other people, but only that person is referred to as Shiran, right? So like that, those are proper nouns. So we use capital letters for names of people, irrespective of where we write the capital letter. It can be at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle of a sentence, right? We have to use a capital letter. All right. So then what are verbs? Can someone tell me what are verbs? What do you mean by verbs? It's something that we do, right? Doing words.
It's similar than any activities.
Yeah, and we are doing are verbs, right? It can be something that happens naturally, like the sun rising, or something that we do, like we are talking, we are listening, right? We are reading, we are studying, some activity that we do, right? You take verbs, we have verbs in different tenses, isn't it? We can have present tense verbs, means activities we are doing now. Then we can have past tense verbs, right? Activities we've done before. And we can have future tense verbs, activities that we will be doing like tomorrow or day after or in a year's time, right? So there will be three classes there for verbs, the three main classes, right? You get present continuous, you get present perfect, past perfect, right? In addition to the three main past tense and future tense verbs, all right? Then we have another class called adjectives. What are adjectives then?
A word that describes a noun.
Good, exactly. It tells us more about a noun, right? Pretty girl, right? Tall tree. It tells us something more about that noun. Similarly, then what are adverbs?
That describes a verb.
Yeah, they describe a verb. If you look at the word itself, see, it adds something to a verb, right? So they are adverbs. How did he run? He ran fast. How did the old man walk? You ask the question how to find the adverb, right? The old man walked slowly. And not always, most of the time, adverbs will end with ly, right? Like she sang beautifully. He walked slowly. So most of the time, not always, you will have ly in an adverb, right? So these are the four basic classes that you have to know. And if you look, what they want you is, now there are these words which are highlighted, right? You need to put them into the different word class. Now we are going to run out of time if we sit. So I'll explain the other suffixes also, and then we will do the exercises according to the amount of time that we have left, right? Because you have to keep 45 minutes, another 15 minutes just for you all to do some questions also, some WH questions, right? So this you can do by yourself, all right? Put them in because these are, see, take a dictionary and check what word class. You know that in a dictionary, right? When we refer to a dictionary, it tells us whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, or what, right? So these you can do by yourself, right? Here again, they've given you some words and they're telling you to put it down as the word class, and then they want you to make some sentence using these words, right? So, okay, then we get on to the next one is a suffix, right? What are suffixes? Words, right, that we add to the end of a word, right? So we can add like OUS, FUL, LY, NESS, right, to an end of a word. And generally, when we add it, we can change it. If it's a noun, we can change it to an adjective, right? The word class might change when we add a suffix. Now, the opposite of suffix is prefix. Right? A prefix is you add it at the beginning, right? So it says we add whatever we are adding at the beginning, and again the word can change. Like we can add the prefixes MIS, UN, right? So understood can become misunderstood, right? Like that, we can change the meaning of the word when we add a prefix. So suffix is added at the end, right? See, these are the endings that we can add, and prefixes are added at the beginning, right? See, they change the meaning of the word, right? So here they've given you, see, convert the following words into nouns by adding the correct suffix from those given in brackets. So you have to choose whether it's T-I-O-N, A-T-I-O-N, or S-I-O-N, right? Expand becomes what? Expansion, like that, right? See, the word class can change. It's a verb. Rotate is an activity. It's a verb. But if we add the suffix T-I-O-N, it becomes rotation. And that is then a noun. So we can change the word class from verb here to noun by adding different suffixes. All right. So, okay. Look at this one. Use the following suffixes to make nouns from the given verbs. Okay, do the first two and tell me, can you tell the first one? Appointment.
Appointment.
Right.
Different.
Difference. This one.
Tolerance.
Tolerance. Correct. Right. So like that. All right. Now here the word bank hasn't been given to you. Okay. You all have the word bank here. They're telling you to use it from the given word bank. Is this the same thing? You all also have the PDF? So the words are legislature, increase, and discrimination. So you have to put it in the correct place, right? So this is gap filling where you have to find the word and put it in, right? Then here they've given you, like a little exercise. They've given you the noun. So they want you to make it a verb. And then here they've given you the verb. So you put, right, prefixes or suffixes and change the word class. So this one, what can we do? Achievement, what is the verb? Achieve. Right? Then if we take expand, what is?
Expansion.
Correct. Right? So some here, you can do it by yourself, right? See whether you can manage it because this is not difficult, right? And the next one that we have to do is, everyone okay with this bit, the parts of speech? Then we have to go on to the speaking part, right? So that's at the end. Someone still has their page 48. You have the listening. Okay, since we are on the listening, right. Now, for the listening, this you have to do it as home. On the LMS, you have a lesson. You have to listen to it and then answer the questions here, right? So it's a gap filling. You first listen to the song via the word. The word bank is given to you, right? And then you have to fill in the blanks by using the word bank. Okay, so you should do this at home before the next lecture, right? Listening activities are all up on the LMS. Some students last time told us that some of them only, I think these songs are there in the next one. That bonsai one, only half is there. So it's okay, right? If you can't do the whole thing, at least do whatever you can, right? Because listening activity is important. So listen to the song and fill in the gaps, right? See? And they've given you another one, right? So given you another song by Michael Jackson, Heal the World. And here you have to fill in the blanks. They haven't given you the word bank here. So you have to listen more intently, right? So when we do academic listening, we must first, right, read this, because we must know what are we going to listen to. Switch the song on and listen to the song. And after that, we must fill the blanks in, right? So for your listening activity, generally what they do, passage, and they have about 10 to 15 questions based on that passage. It can be the blanks, it can be MCQ, just to write an answer, right? So first of all, as you get the paper, you have to read the questions. Then the audio will be played for you once, right? And then you listen to it. And after that, you have to answer the question. So these are the practice listening exercises that you have. Get onto your LMS, listen to it, and then do these exercises that are given for your listening, right? There are some things that you have to write as well. Some questions, right? So here, by the end, you should know, right? You know, whether it's a song or whether it's a passage, you should be able to listen and to be able to complete the activities that are given. So you have to listen intently, right? Because it is for academic purposes that you're listening for it. And the last one we have to do for today is the speech, right? So what you have to do is introduce yourself, right? And maybe write down 5 questions that you would like to ask someone else here in the class, right? So when we ask questions, right? Say, for example, see here, they have said Namal and Rajesh are at the OUSL Colombo Center. Both have come to register for the English program and they do not know each other, right? Now, can you see here? Good morning. Good morning, I'm Rajesh. Very, friendly, informal. Okay? So when you all are going to speak also, think of 5 questions that you would like to ask. And generally, we ask questions using the WH words, right? Now, what are these WH words? See here. See, what about you? Where do you live? Right? Can you see? Right? We ask questions using WH words. Okay, so here, WH questions. Right? So we generally ask questions using these WH words. What are the WH words that we use? What, why, when, where, right? Here, yeah. And even how, though it's not a WH word, right? We call this WHPO. Here, see, they all start with WH. What, when, who, why, where. And how is also we use it to ask questions. What else can we ask? Another WH, can you tell me 2 more?
Which?
Which, correct, which. Another one? Whose, right? Whose, you can use, yeah, whose, right? So these WH words are very, very useful when we are doing conversation, right? Okay, so then when we write a sentence in English or when we speak, right? We should have the proper grammatical order. So we have to have subject agreement, right? So they've given you a simple sentence, one from the passage that we read, right? So here it says, see, Obama won the election. So who won the election? Obama. That is the subject, the main person who's doing this work. What did he win? Is the election, right? So we know this. And then if we are going to ask a question, we add a WH word, right? So here you go. They've given you how we can do it, right? So we have the WH word, and then we have an auxiliary verb, a helping verb, like what have or what did you do, right? So have, has, did are those helping verbs that, and then we have the right? The subject, verb, and the object agreement, right? So these are important things for us to remember because we have to, in English, we speak grammatically and we write grammatically, all right? Like in Sinhala, where we speak, we don't speak grammatically, okay? I'm sorry, I do not know Tamil. Is Tamil also like that? Do you speak is it like English or is it like Sinhala?
We use often grammar, miss. Not all, but often.
But you don't have to speak like grammatically correct when you're speaking, is it?
Yeah, yes, it's true.
You write differently, right? I mean, for Tamil, if you do the Tamil paper, you have to write grammatically correct, no? Isn't it?
Yes, miss. Yes. But
Yeah.
when we speak that, don't like
But
that.
when we speak, we don't talk like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like now, I mean, for the ones who know Sinhala, I'm sure you now in Sinhala, when we talk, we'll say Mama Yanama. That is when we talk, no? But when we write Mama Yanama is wrong, no? Mama Yami. Or Mama na me when no api na mu waling ivar when no we learned when we were small. So, in Sinhala, it's totally different. The way we speak and the way we write is totally different. Right? We have the colloquial speaking and the grammatical for writing. But in English, it's both the same. We speak grammatically and we write grammatically as well, right? So that is why we need to know all these little bits of grammar, even when we are speaking, right? And we have to use the same thing when we are writing as well, okay? Right, so the last bit is for you to jot down any 5 questions, WH questions, and to ask someone else in class. We just have a couple more minutes left, so any 2 people who can ask 5 questions and the other one should answer. So if you have any friend here, the 2 people can get together or any 2. Now the ones who are just write down 5 questions and ask someone. Ask the question and we'll at least get anybody to answer them. Someone's mic is still on. Where nobody's asking questions. Who is that? Who spoke before? Shehan. Who's the other boy? Did you all write 5 questions, WH questions? Students, we have only 5 more minutes. We have Arshad. Arshad, you'd like to ask 5 questions or 2 questions at least? How to talk all numbers, no? Romini? Ranjan? Ranjana, would you like to, what are the 2, tell me 2 WH questions that you wrote down?
Can I ask?
Yes, you can ask. Sure. Ranjana, you need to mute your mic. Your mic only, I think. Yes, you can ask. Please ask.
Who's going to give me the answer?
At least ask the question, will you? Where nobody is volunteering to do anything. You ask 2 questions. I will pick up someone and tell them to answer.
What's your name?
Right. So Nilakshi is asking. Okay, here there is 22, 25, 03, 157 with no name. So she's asking, what's your name? Can you answer, please? Somebody has put the hand up. All right. Answer, please.
I am Dinushi.
Thank you, Dinushi. Nilakshi, ask another question from Dinushi.
Where do you live?
Sorry,
Where do you live?
I live in Gampaha.
So why do you choose the BMS degree?
To get the promotion.
Very good. Ask 2 more questions, Nilakshi. Ask with when. One with when. When did you join something? With when? When is for like times, no, we ask. You're Nilakshi. Sorry, no, not Nilakshi. Nilakshi. Nilakshi with one with when?
How is the lecture today?
Good. Good for me also to know. How is the lecture today? She's asking.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It is so good, man. So helpful.
When was the class finished, madam?
Someone else is asking a question with when. Right. What is that? Didn't hear you.
Was this class finished?
Can you ask again? Didn't hear. I also didn't hear.
When
I
is
think
the class
others might
finished,
have
madam?
to mute. Yeah. When was?
This class finished, madam?
When will this class finish? Right. When will this class finish? Right. Can somebody answer?
12:30. 12:30.
10:30, 11:30. What time do we finish?
12:30.
12:30, right?
Who's your class teacher?
Asking who was your class teacher?
Shani.
Actually,
Shani Buralessa.
right. Oh, I made a mistake. I thought it was finishing at 12. That's why I said we have only, right. We have 40 minutes given for speaking. That's good. So everybody needs to speak then. Okay. Sorry, I made a mistake. I thought it was over at 12. That's why I said we have only a couple of more minutes. Very good. I'm very happy that the ones who are volunteering and speaking, right? If we speak only, we will be able to improve our speaking skills, students, right?
Excuse me, Miss.
Yes.
Yeah, Miss, can you give some tips how to increase our grammar while speaking? Because the hardest part is I can't speak with a proper grammar while speaking. Can you give some tips?
So first of all, that's what I told you, right? Okay, now since we do have time, let me see. I was looking up at a YouTube thing. It says how to learn English easily. What I told you about watching a movie.
Yeah, Miss.
Yeah, let me show you that data if I can.
Watching a movie with subtitle or?
Yes. See this, you all can get students. One thing is read books. Now that question what you asked me. Now you ask with perfect grammar, you right? So if it's a certain grammar area that you're finding it difficult, what is easy about English is if we learn it, we can use it for our writing and our speaking, right? Because it's not different. Do you understand? Like in Sinhala and in Tamil, it's not different, right? So if you learn it, we can use it, you know, when we speak, when we write, for everything. So the easiest way for you all to learn would be to use the language. So speak with anyone, right, who can converse in English, talk with them in English. Never mind if you make mistakes. This is not our language, children, right? Sorry, students. I mean, this is a foreign language for us, right? So use it all the time. That is the best way. Then we must listen. So we can, by watching movies, is the way. Now I taught the same EGAP for the visual arts university, right? And those students used to tell me, Miss, we never did our English lessons in school. We used to just skip missions, and now only we are suffering. Right? So what I did was I gave them these movies, some of what my kids used to watch, right? You know, fun ones, like, you know, all these Kung Fu Panda and these fun movies that you feel like watching, which are, you know, and then when you watch those, you hear words, you listen to the way they speak grammatically correctly, right? So that is the best way. First of all, watch the movie, then watch it with subtitles. Let me stop sharing this and see whether I can get that for you. And also do, you know, little grammar exercises. If you can, give me a second, right? Anyone else who has any other questions, or you all can write. See, the ones, I'm sorry, I mistook the time. Actually, we can go back and finish these exercises. This, we have time. I thought it was 12. That's why I rushed through. This noun. Okay, here in this one also there is, right? Go to page 54. Okay, write down 5 questions that you wish to ask. We did that one, page 53. Go to page 54. Here are some questions to answer. Remember to check the tense when answering the question. So that is important, right? So till I look for this YouTube, answer those questions. Activity 4, page 54. Okay. Let me, how do I do this now? How do I go to Google again now from here? Students, you all are tech savvy. You know, how do I go to Google now from here? I'm a little stuck. I can't. While having this, can't I go to Google to check on that YouTube one?
You can, miss. You can share the screen and you have to select share my screen.
No, I know. No, before I'm sharing it, I want to go and get that video that I looked at before. Now I can't go back now to Google. Why is that? Well, I'll have to ask one of my children now to help me. Because I looked at one in the morning, I wanted to show that that was really interesting. It's this from this movie, and they tell you exactly how to do it.
Can you send the YouTube link?
Like I used to go, no, on Teams, I moved back and forth and I used the, why is it this Zoom is not allowing me? If I close this, will I go out of the meeting?
You can press the Windows key and keyboard.
Yeah, now here at the bottom I have Google, no, but when I go there, only the Zoom thing comes. Why can't I? Okay, let me minimize this Zoom thing then. Oh, because I'm on the Zoom from my mail only, I came to the link. Now, if I close this, I'll go out of the meeting, isn't it?
So if you have joined with a browser, you can open a new tab on Chrome.
Yeah, a new tab on.
You have a plus mark next to the meeting icon at the top.
Yeah. Okay. So there, I go to YouTube, is it?
Yes, correct, ma'am.
But it's not letting me. What did I search for now in the morning? No. I don't want to get kicked out of the meeting now. Yeah, near the plus sign, I can't type anything, so for me to search. What is that? That is a lovely one. In fact, I couldn't. Okay, basically what you can do is this, right? This is what I did to find it. What you do is type on your search bars, right? Say short video to learn English, right? And then there are these little YouTube videos that come up. Now I can't go to it. Right? And you get ones where they say learning English through watching movies. They're like that. The one I looked at was like just, I think 3-4 minutes. It wasn't long, but it gives you the technique, how you should be doing it, right? That's what I told you. First, you watch the movie without the subtitles. Don't have your subtitles on. Okay. Remove all subtitles. Right? Remove the subtitles first. Then watch it. After that, you watch it again, the same movie with the subtitles, so that whatever the words that you missed, right, that you couldn't follow, then you can read it. And after that, write down whatever the words that you didn't know the meaning of. Okay? So that way, then what are you doing? You're improving your vocabulary. So write the words down, Google the meanings, and then you will have the meanings as well, right? So you would be listening, you would be understanding, right? You'll improve vocabulary, and whatever, when you listen and when you hear to grammatically correct English, right, you would naturally pick up on it. Okay, so just see, Google that and see, there are short videos. I don't know why it's not letting me go to. It says my Zoom thing only is coming up. All right, it's okay. So shall we then? Okay, let me share my screen again. Pardon?
Can you send the YouTube link?
I will. When I'll do it next time, right? And I will send it to you. I told you I'm not too tech savvy with this Zoom because I always work on Teams. In the morning, I'll copy the link and give it to you next time.
Okay.
So anything else? Can we? Okay, we can do this one. 24, I said, right? Right, here's. There are some questions to answer. Remember to check the tense when answering the question. Now, I think the problem you all have is with the tense, because when we speak, right? If we are talking about now, you have to remember to speak. If you're talking about things which happened in the past, you have to talk in the past tense. If you're going to talk about anything that's happening in the future, then obviously use future tense, right? If the action is continuing while you're doing it, then you use the continuous tense. And under continuous tense, you will have the present continuous, right? And the past continuous. So those are the grammar things you have to learn. Now, we don't go through all that grammar purely because we do not have time, right? Because we have to finish these things, and it's not kind of like a grammar thing. This is for English for general academic purposes where it helps you with your coursework, right? But so you can, you have to improve your grammar if you're going to be writing. So that's why we have, while learning all these things to improve your grammar, right? Okay, so if the favorite color, what will you say? Put the answer down. Or did you all put the answers down now? For speaking, so you need to just answer. If you want, you can write it and answer. You can just answer. No need to write it actually. So what is your favorite color? Anyone?
My favorite color is blue.
Correct. Who was your best friend when you were in grade 10?
My best friend's name was Mitran.
Correct. Now see, this is in present tense. What is your favorite color? So you answer, it is blue. Look at this one. Who was your best friend when you were in grade 10? What tense is that in?
Past tense.
Exactly. So Jane was my best friend in grade 10, right? So we have to answer in past tense then. See, that is the grammar that then you learn through this, right? Okay. Third one. Is that it? One of you read it as well, then you're improving the reading rather than me reading it. You whose mic is on, students? God, my ears also hurting now. This whole point from the time we started.
It's Ranjana's. Miss Ranjana's mic is on.
I know. That's why I think even Chamira from the university had muted. Ranjana, mute. There's a crow that's been cawing now from the time that we started this lecture.
Miss, you can mute them, Miss.
Oh, can I?
Yeah. If you are host, you can, Miss.
Oh, okay. Let me mute. Oh, you should have told me this before. I thought only he could. I would have muted it. It's a headache as well. Right. Thank you. So when did the tsunami hit Sri Lanka, children? Students?
It's for 2014.
Yeah.
2004.
Was it 14?
It was 2004.
Yeah, it was in 2004. Right, 2000. Correct. How do you travel to the university? Now, if you had to come to your regional center, say, will you, right? How do you travel to the university?
By bus.
I travel by bus, correct? So the correct preposition, if it's by, okay. How else? How else can we come? Different modes of transport. If it is close by, how would you come?
On foot.
On foot, correct. So see, can you say by foot? No, it's on foot, right? There you go. You use the different preposition. On foot, right? So if you're on foot, what would you be doing? How would you be coming? I will. How do you travel to the university? I walk to the university, right? Can you see? If you're walking, you don't need the preposition there. Then just I walk to the university because it's close to my house, right? I come by bus, right? Then if you're going to cycle or take a motorbike, how would you say? Motorbicycle, right? And you're coming on the motorbicycle. How are you going to say that?
By bicycle.
I will come on my bicycle, not by, right? I will be coming on my motorbike, or I will be coming on my bicycle, or I ride my bicycle to the university, right?
Don't we use
Pedal my bicycle to the university. If it is a push bicycle, yeah, I pedal my bicycle to the university. Yes, but
why don't we use by?
No, so the correct position, right, has to be used, right? By bicycle, you're basically coming on the bicycle, right?
Okay, madam.
You're not getting, like, you say, I can come by bus, or I can come, right, in the bus. I come to the university in the bus. I come by bus, right? So some prepositions, we can use 2 or 3 prepositions, right, to show that mode of transportation. But for some, we cannot use that preposition, right? Next question.
Why did you register for BA in Social Science at the Open University?
Why do you register for the BA in Social Sciences at the Open University? So why? So change it, will you do your one? Why did you register for your, all are doing this BMS, you said, right? Management.
It's help to my knowledge.
Didn't understand. Why did you register for the BA in management, right?
I registered for BMS degree for improve my knowledge.
To improve my knowledge, right? Last one, where is your home?
In Jaffna.
Okay. All right, you told us you're from Jaffna. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one. See, right? Then you need the correct prepositions, right? Okay, let's look at the next activity. Interviewing world personalities. That's what this whole module was about, right? So when we can have 2 students, right? One will think of a personality, right? Now, say, will you, I am that student, and you all are going to ask me questions. I imagine myself as some personality. Say that I think I am, okay, Kumar Sangakkara, right? You think of yourself as some personality. Then you all have to ask me questions, okay, so that you can guess personality I was thinking of. Do you understand? Right? You should be able to guess. So what kind of questions will you ask if you don't know? You're trying to guess who that personality is, right? So this, generally, these 20 questions, right? So here they're telling you to write 6 questions, right? So you try to ask questions to figure out who the person has thought that person is. They think of some personality. And then we must ask questions so that we can figure out who that person has thought about. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's in a form of a game, right? That you ask questions. And then you, at the end of the set, now here they have told you 6 questions. End of the 20 questions, we should be able to guess what that personality thought of. Right? And you should see whether they, so here we are looking at whether they use the correct tense and everything. Right? Okay, so who would like to try first? We have 10 minutes now. What's your name? Nitya? No. So here we have Shall we tell two others to do it? Dina. Dina, would you like to ask 6 questions from, is it Chamila or Tamila? No, not there.
Sure, ma'am. So we have to ask questions about a personality set.
No, now you must ask questions so that you can guess the personality of what the other person was thinking. So that one we tell, okay, you think of any personality, right? Some famous person. So we will narrow it down. We'll say, okay, think of a cricketer, will you? Right? Then you know who that cricketer is by asking questions. So you must ask relevant questions from the other person so that you can, get the information out. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. So other than the name, we can ask anything, right?
Yes, yeah. We can't ask who did you think, no, then so there is no game in it, right? So you ask the questions and they have to answer. So we have to see whether the tense is correct and all that. So while improving our grammar, we are doing it in a fun way. Right? Okay. Who's the other one? I said Diana, right? You're Dina.
I'm Dina, ma'am.
Dina, and who else would like to come? Dina, the other name before you is Janeshwaran. Is it Chamila or Chamila? I don't know. Okay, Deshika then. Dina and Deshika, would you all like to do it? Would somebody ask questions? Dina is prepared to do it. There's Harshani. Now, students, this is the thing. When you all are doing online, you all can be virtually here, but not physically here, right? Looks like these people are all virtually there, but not physically there. Nadisha? Okay, anyone who's prepared to answer Dina's questions?
I will try, madam.
Good. Thank you. What's your name?
Kirtigan.
Kirtigan. Right. Okay. Dina, ask. So you think of some personality, okay? And when she asks questions, you must answer so that she's able to guess it after a couple of questions, right? Okay, Dina. Start.
Hi. Okay. The first question is, in which area is this personality popular in?
In European country.
Was it a president?
No.
So try to now get what field. So you ask whether he's a sportsman or you ask president or some other field also.
What's his field? Is he a sportsman or politician?
Yeah, he's a sportsman.
What's his skin color? His or her?
What?
What's his or her skin color? Like, is it dark or fair?
It's like brown.
What's his or her sport?
Cricket.
Recording stop. Recording in progress.
Okay, Dina. Yeah, my internet connection went off. Sorry, children. There was something wrong.
European.
Yes, Dina?
Is he a batsman or a bowler?
He's a batsman from England.
Okay, so you got quite a bit. He's a batsman from England. So then what will you have to say? Is he like, you have to find out whether he's currently playing or whether this is an English batsman who was famous long ago.
Is he a former cricketer or is he playing now?
He's now playing. Yeah, he's the best cricket of Test batsman.
Is it Ben Stokes?
No. Stokes is all-rounder. I said he's a batsman.
Very good. She's getting quite close. I, of course, have no clue who these people are. So do you understand how to do it? So can you see when the best way to learn is through something interesting, right? Okay. That was very good. Thank you, Diana, for asking the questions. And I'm sorry, I still couldn't get your name properly. Nityanjan.
No, Kirtigan.
Kirti for answering the question. So who did you think, Kirti? Let us know.
It's George Root.
Diana, you know who that is?
I haven't heard of him. Yes.
Neither have I. All right. So he's a famous cricketer. All right. Thank you very much to students for taking part in that game. But can you see what I wanted you to know is, by doing something fun, you can improve the language skills, right? All right. So today, if you just, go through what we did. So we did the reading, right? And we learned when we read that we have to read for understanding, right? And that we use different techniques when we read. So we can either use the technique of skimming or scanning. Skimming is for overall understanding and scanning is to find specific information. So when we go for an exam, we first read the passage to understand, and then we read the questions, and then we scan that passage to get specific answers, right? And after that, we did the parts of speech, right? So you need to know the parts of speech because, like what I told you, when we read, write, or speak in English, it has to be grammatically correct. So you can fill in those exercises, right? At home, that's not too difficult, all right? And then for the speaking part, right, we did the WH questions. We learned how to ask questions at a formal interview when we read. And if it's an informal, you'll ask WH questions from each other. Where do you live? How do you come to the university, right? What is your favorite color? So on and so forth, right? And your listening part is on the LMS. I told this to you before. Please listen to it, right? And then fill in the two songs, the gaps for the two songs, right? Because we don't do the listening in class, right? It's on your LMS. So go to that, listen to it, and then make sure that you have the answers filled in. And if you have any difficulties next week when you come, we will go through it, right? All right, children. So let's, students, let's stop for today, right? And I hope you understood everything that we did. If there is any questions, you can ask. I'll wait 5 minutes. If there are any questions or anything that you want to clarify. Did the recording stop now? Okay, let me stop the recording.
Recording stopped.
Ma'am, how do I get the class recording?
Now these, what we do is now there are so many group students, right? Now you're in group 6. We have one slot 8:30 to 10:30, then your slot is 10:30 to 12:30. Then we have again in the afternoon 2 slots. So we send, each of us lecturers send our recordings, and they will put, you know, any one recording up on the LMS, because they can't put all of our ones, right? So who gets put, it's on a random thing, they just choose and put it, right? You all can listen to that. One recording is uploaded on today's lesson.
Okay, Miss, thank you.
Right? Any other questions?
Miss, there is an activity in my LMS. Miss,
Okay.
we have to do that.
Yes, the activities in your LMS also you all can do. Right? The only thing is we don't know what those activities are because we have no access to the LMS. Only students, you all have access. So if there is anything, maybe you can take a screenshot or something and have it for next week if you want anything clarified, because we have no access to it. Right? Only the department has, and you all as students. So do it, and if there is anything that you need clarification, the best thing is to do is to take a screenshot and, you know, show it. Did you all understand everything that was done today? Anything that you couldn't understand? So I'll put up some revision questions next time when we do, because today there was nothing for us to do as such, but for unit 2, we can do some, I will take questions from the papers and put it up for you when we are, as you know, as exercises. For this section, actually, there isn't anything other than a comprehension. So we'll do a little bit more and then start doing the comprehension questions, right? Okay, then if there's nothing else, then I will stop for today. I'll see you next week.
Okay,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, Miss.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome.